David Morgan, themorganreport.com. This is the MIF, Metals Investors Forum, backstage interview, and I have Fred Davidson from Impact Silver. Fred, you know I can talk. So one thing about Impact, when I first learned about it, is actually, I think, almost the same time as Bob Moriarty, and Bob pointed out what I already knew, but most investors don't, because they're taught drill, 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 drill. And Fred had an approach like, we know it's there. Why would I waste my money drilling? Let's go mine. And people, well, you can't do that. You know, of course he did, and he's proven it over and over again. They have a large project. It's not, the biggest silver mining project out there, but they're consistently making money and improving, meaning the bottom line. I wouldn't comment on grade. I'll let Fred do that. But overall, it just keeps getting better and better. And the story is not very well known. So, Fred, why don't we go ahead and start out with what kind of exploration success you had in 2020?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, we're a pure silver play. And, to date, we've, even without a lot of sort of drilling, we've actually generated about $250 million worth of revenue from non-existent reserves under the conventional thing. We had a really good year this year. We are able to crank up our exploration. We did about 11,000 meters of drilling. We had 4 really significant hits at the Veta Negra, which is our open pit. We were running 211 grams over about 10 meters. At another target that we've been chasing, Guadalupe, which is the second oldest mine in the district, 1529. We ended up getting a significant hit there. And as we develop underground at the Guadalupe, we run into a new mining area called Pachaqueño. And we just came up with some results that were over 2,000 grams per ton in a brand new target for us. So it is pretty exciting drilling just on that alone. Going forward, needless to say, we're going to spend some serious time in Pachaqueño. And actually, we've got additional results coming out in San Ramon very shortly, which has been in production now since, for us at least, since 2006, 2007. So very exciting year. We planned another 20,000 meters of drilling for the next 12 months.
So thank you. And I just want to editorialize a bit here, Fred, because, I just talked about no drilling and you talked about drilling. So just to put it in the proper context, when the project started, and you could correct me, Fred, there was stuff that was like what we might call easy pickings that you could take out and make money at. As you make money, it's self-funding, basically. So you're making money by mining silver. Now you've got money to go drill and explore areas that you do need to determine, what the grades are and how much and that type of thing. So I'm not trying to weasel out of what I said initially. What I'm trying to point out is one of the few projects that I'm aware of that's not only very much all silver, there's very few like that, but on top of it, you really haven't diluted your shareholders like many of the companies that are pure exploration situations that all they can do is drill. And some of them, I'll just go a bit further for education purposes for everybody. This is important. I've got many projects that I've seen 2 or 3 times. It's, this company has $8 million that they've already spent on it. Yeah, $8 million, and you don't have enough M&I measured and indicated to make a resource to make this thing economically viable. So they're going to put in 8 million more. And that happens sometimes. So now someone else, they'll leave and another party will come in and rename it and say, God, $16 million is put into this company. To what avail? Fred, do you want to comment on my comment?
Yeah, not a problem. I'm not turning words around on this one, because the drilling we're doing is indicative only. It's where we're going to be in another 100 meters. None of this would qualify for 43-101 because our spacing is like 50 meters between holes. We're not doing 10 meter spacing, so none of it would qualify. It tells us, hey, we should be aiming in this direction, and you're absolutely right. The rest of it is we break rock and chase it. It's cheaper and more efficient, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to take it as a seasoned investor or a novice investor. Like, well, wait a minute, I don't understand, and sometimes it's the devil's in the details. Well, let's move on. I know you've got a lot going forward, so if you could just take us kind of basically from a green field to a brown field and what you have available to you and what the plan is for 2021.
Okay, this year for 2020.
I'm sorry, 2022. It's been a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
day and it's only the
We're
morning.
going to be expanding our brownfields, and that is we cut our throughput back at the Guadalupe mine when the prices of silver dropped off, and we went for higher margin targets. We're now going to be expanding with those higher margin targets into new areas like Pachaqueño. And Pachaqueño is quite exciting. When you get 2 kilos, it's fairly exciting over a couple of meters. It's exciting. The other side is we're at Veta Negra. It's an open pit, but it's going to go to depth. And because it's easy breaking, costs of mining there are very low. So we'll be chasing those. But what's interesting is there's some other targets we're chasing, like Chapanel, as I mentioned. It's a gold target. And it radiates out from a big mag high in the bottom of a very steep valley that's nearby. And that Chapanel ran 97 grams silver, 97 grams gold over 0.8 of a meter. And it's an old mine that we couldn't get into. That was obviously the highest grade, but there's a series of high grade targets on it. Gold is going to be a target. I'll apologize for not being pure silver, but I can't argue with gold. But I think the one that's as an exploration play is Alacran. It's, as I say, they were actually shipping 20 to 60 kilos of silver straight to the smelter. And that's in 1920, 1921. And we have confirmation of that from independent geologists reviewing it. It was mined off and on since then. 40 years ago, it basically filled up with water when prices of silver were down. And we're going to go in on that. And we regard that as a greenfields target. But it's a very attractive target to be drilling. We'll probably do that one. We're going to have to drill because you're going to have to drain a very large area of water to get at this stuff. But the other one I'm always excited about is Capire, because we went at it about 10 years ago. Price of silver was $30. It looked like a laydown. We put in a small pilot plant. Price of silver fell to about $13 almost the day after we started up. So we shut her down because it's a higher cost operation. Things have changed. Technology has changed quite a bit. And we've been testing. We've now done a bulk test sample. We've now run the numbers on our initial phase only. It's going to have to go to a more detailed study. But it looks like that we can bring that back into operation. We'd be running through an ore sorting system at about 350 tons a day, 200 tons a day through the actual mill. And that should add a couple 100,000 ounces of silver and, heaven forbid, some lead, zinc, and gold and copper on the other end. And that we're expecting to take our annual production now substantially over the 1 million ounce number going forward. Should be starting at about July, August next year. So very busy year for us. We've got the money. We've got $20 million in the bank. In fact, we had $20 million in the bank before we did 11,000 meters of drilling. We still got 20,000 meters, all funded from working capital. We have no debt, and it's going to be a very aggressive, very busy, and quite frankly, a very newsworthy year coming up.
Fred, it's always a pleasure. I'm going to kind of leave it there. I always have to have the final word, as you know. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is an ounce of silver. And these days, from my expertise, you get 2 or 3 of those per ton. Most people are fairly excited. What Fred has outlined to you is 2 kilos per ton. A ton, roughly, if you're looking at hard rock, you fill up the back of a pickup truck with rock, that's roughly a ton. So you're looking at 2 of those per ton versus maybe 2 of those per ton in most instances. I'm making a rough comparison here. But the first one we talked about was about 60 ounces a ton. I think he said 2,000 grams, which rough math in my head is around 60 ounces. So, you know, grade is king. Yes. Do I have projects that are low grade and lots of it and all that? Yes. But look, nothing from my vast experience is better than having a high grade. You can not that anyone wants to make mistakes, but we're humans. And when you have a big margin, you can do, you can run into things that cost that you hadn't planned on and recover and be okay and press on. If you are in a very thin margin and you make a mistake or the same mistake, could be out of business. So I guess I'll hand it over to you and let you have the last word, Fred.
Well, I hope to make an honest man of it with our work in the next year, and we'll prove off that you don't have to lay out billions to develop a mine, and all you need is roll up your sleeve and make it happen.
Love your attitude, Fred. I will look for the next cup of coffee on you, so I'll announce that next
You're
time
done.
we get together. And press on, my friend, press on. Hi ho, silver away.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye.